Disneyland was closed for over a year due to COVID. That's by far the longest closure in the history of the original Disney park, which has been entertaining all ages since July 1955. It reopened in April 2022. You'll still feel that familiar and overpowering sense of warmth and excitement when you walk underneath the Disneyland Railroad station and onto Main Street. If Disney parks hook you the way they're built to, you know what I'm talking about. If they don't, well, give it time. And maybe one day they will. In today's video, we will be showing you some of the best ride in Disneyland. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 10. Soarin' around the world. With a steady wind and the scent of roses wafting in your face, this Hangs glider meets a max-like dome experience is the type of technical feat that only Disney can pull off. The ride simulates flying over some of the world's, formerly California's, most beautiful assets, including the Matterhorn, the real one, and the Eiffel Tower, all set to a triumphant score that has us walking off the ride with a serious case of wanderlust. Number 9. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This runaway mine train coaster weaving through rainbow caverns and craggy canyons always manages to feel faster and more exhilarating at night. Chalk that up to tight turns and sudden dips that seem to come startlingly close to rock faces. Though the coaster lost a little bit of its lovably rough ride after a 2014 refurb, it gained an explosive, literally, final lift hill that's made the attraction even more of a thrill. Wildest seat in the wilderness. Last 3 rows. Number 8. Toy Story Midway Mania. The concept for Midway Mania is simple. Pull a drawstring on a swiveling blaster to shoot targets in a 3D projection. But this whirly, rollicking tour of boardwalk-style games brings the whole Toy Story crew into the mix to create an experience that's far more amusing than your average plate-breaking, balloon-popping, a ring-tossing sideshow. It's almost guaranteed that you'll be coming back to chase your high score over and over again. Best shooting tip: bend at the wrist, not the elbow, to fire off shots much faster. Number 7. Haunted Mansion. Haunted is the key word here. From doorknobs to candelabras, seemingly every part of the ride is alive, or rather, undead. The Haunted Mansion trades scares and creeps for hints of dark humor and practical effects that are still mystifying over a half-century later. Though its biggest draw comes around the holidays with a Nightmare Before Christmas makeover, nothing can beat the regular version. In fact, we'll take the slow creep of those classic organ blasts over a Danny Elfman-inspired score any day. Best ghostly effect: the ballroom dancing ghosts. Number 6. Pirates of the Caribbean. The storytelling and placemaking on this boat ride are more compelling than the swashbuckling films it would inspire. The lull of the firefly-lit bayou and a gently plucked banjo gives way to the mystery and magic of a talking skull and crossbones and treasure-filled cave. It's a long ride, to be sure, but it's filled with spectacular sights that'll stick with you, from a mansion patio with a remarkably convincing night sky to a ship battle, not to mention that fist-swinging yo-ho chorus. Best way to soak up more seafaring flavor: book a reservation at the Blue Bay restaurant, which shares space inside the attraction. Number 5. Peter Pan's Flight. For nearly 70 years, these flying pirate ships have ferried parkgoers from an English bedroom to Neverland. Though Fantasyland is full of slow-moving, slightly too short rides, Peter Pan has always been the most charming thanks to its music, You Can Fly, and ride system. With no track below you, the provincial rooftops give way to the London cityscape, and eventually the star-filled floating island of Neverland. Sure, the line's long and the ride's short, but it's a small price to pay for this wholesome trip down memory lane. Number 4. It's a Small World. If you can't get past any disdain for that earworm of a tune, only the happiest song in the world, then you're really missing out on one of the most delightful rides ever. A mid-century explosion plastered with designs from the imagination of Disney animator Mary Blair, the slow-moving boat ride has been singing its tune of global harmony since its debut at the 1964 World's Fair. Today, you'll find Disney characters subtly mixed in with the traditionally dressed multicultural dolls, but it's the playful color palette, whimsical set pieces, and brassy but twinkly music that really makes this the happiest cruise that ever sailed. Dashing through the snow. If you visit during the holidays, typically mid-November to early January, you'll find a seasonal makeover of the ride that somehow squeezes in even more wholesome cheer. Number 3. Indiana Jones Adventure. Disneyland isn't short on nostalgic movie tie-ins, but there's nothing in the park quite like Indiana Jones Adventure. The ride system itself is a bumpy thrill. A four-wheel drive vehicle zips along a track as the seat jolt, rumbles, and careens around skeleton ambushes and fireballs. But the magic comes from an encyclopedic survey of Indiana Jones lore, set to that familiar John Williams theme. We won't spoil all of the temple traps, which, even when malfunctioning, as they often do, don't bring down the ride, but plan on this wild adventure becoming a regular fixture during your park visits. When the ride first opened in the 90s, you could decipher the runes in the clue using a decoder card, which you can now access digitally via the Play Disney Parks app. Number 2. Space Mountain. There's a reason that weary parkgoers will line up for hours to go on this indoor, nearly pitch-black coaster. Even at the stroke of midnight, Space Mountain ratchets up the tension as your rocket climbs through a sequence of light-up tunnels and launch preparations. The music builds until it hits a cosmic crescendo just as you catch your first glimpse of the star-spattered darkness. And with a swift countdown, you're launched downward into a series of sudden drops and tight turns, almost exclusively right-hand, yet each still manages to feel unexpected. The coaster seems like it increasingly picks up speed, yet we've heard the ride barely breaks 30 miles per hour until you come clanking to a halt and want nothing more than to ride it another 16 times. Who needs to actually go into outer space when we're almost positive Space Mountain is more fun? Number 1. Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance is conjuring jaw-on-the-floor illusions, while everything else is playing simple tricks. The centerpiece attraction in Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge is unlike any other ride we've ever been on. In fact, it takes a planet-obliterating laser to the expected paces of a theme park ride. You'll snake through ancient caves harboring the Resistance's hideout, get recruited by Rey and BB-8, board a transport bound for Princess Leia's secret base, and maybe find yourself abducted onto a First-Order Star Destroyer. But that's all on foot, and all before even buckling a seatbelt. We won't spoil what happens in between. Seriously, the less you know about this 15-plus minute experience, the better. But you do eventually find yourself seated in a zippy, droid-navigated vehicle for a third act that's packed with as much fun as the first two are with detailed storytelling and unexpected turns. Every dazzling minute of its trackless route feels like magic. You won't even have time to wonder how those plasma-red blaster bolts are seemingly flying through thin air as you're hurried into the next room to weave around the mechanical legs of a pair of imposing AT-ATs. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.